Hello.
Hello.
How are
Hi.
you today?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty busy day so far. Lesson, 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 lesson.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's good for me. Um,
yeah.
okay. Now, what about yourself though? How's work been?
It's okay, it's okay. We today you don't go to the make the
Nope.
baker
Uh,
right?
Remember yesterday I told you that Sunday's the big day for me normally.
Oh,
So today's just Thursday. Whatever.
that's the
Because I told you right now we're trying to build and get bigger, right? I'm trying to get more space, and the bakery doesn't make crazy amount of money, so I
oh,
teach right now to make more money. Yeah.
okay, good. Okay,
So
we talk about the some Canada culture. You
yeah,
understand culture?
of course.
Yeah, yeah. You from Canada. I plan go to Canada. So you
hmm
talk about me. Some Canada culture, interesting culture.
Well, something that's quite interesting about Canada, especially where you're going,
Oh,
um,
today,
which is,
today, Canada. The Trudeau in the your wife no married. It's the news. You look at the news.
no,
Ah,
not
ah.
yet. What's the daily news? I didn't see.
You not look at the news.
Of course not. I'm too busy. Canada Prime Minister divorce. Oh,
Divorce. No.
whatever. I don't.
Oh, money news is the talk. The Canada
Well, it's that's pretty big news, but it's not a huge deal in Canada. Uh,
no, in Canada I see so many friends.
mhm,
So many friends. Look,
Yep.
so many friends. Yeah.
I just mean that, like, politically, it's not necessarily a big deal for Canadians. We don't necessarily care too much about if the prime
Oh,
minister is married or not, but
oh,
that's
this
okay.
well, that's okay.
Uh, it's whatever. The thing is, obviously, it's not a great thing for them because that could affect politics. But generally speaking, it probably isn't affecting politics that much. So most Canadians don't care. Most Canadians care that he's messing up the country,
Oh,
not yeah.
that's okay. I think today the money news.
Well,
Is the huh?
Canada's not necessarily a very traditional country. Uh,
Mm.
so, like for example, a lot of people in Canada get married without um, being married.
Be married.
So what I mean by that is they just live together. They're like, we
Yeah.
don't need to get married. We'll just live together for 10 years.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They get married. You in Canada, you get the license, married license.
You don't even have to. If you live with someone for longer than 2 years, you are considered married by the government. So
Oh, you for the
marriage
government.
is marriage isn't a very big thing. The only thing that marriage is we still care about is to protect both sides. So like if they separate and they've been together for 10 years, we just try to make sure that like one person doesn't take all the money or doesn't make the other person struggle, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really the only thing that matters when it comes to marriage. We don't care
Oh,
that much in Canada. That's all.
in
Yeah.
in Canada, boy and boy married,
Yep.
girl and girl married. Yeah,
Yep. Everything.
yeah.
Yep. We don't. Like I
Everything.
said, it's not a big deal for us. Um, that's just how it is. And so, yeah, it's not great that the prime minister is divorced. I probably think it's not great, but the whole of Canada probably doesn't care that much, if I'm honest.
Oh,
But
oh,
that's okay.
that's
Because
okay.
and here's why. Um, the federal government isn't very powerful in Canada. Uh, so Trudeau doesn't do that much for Canada.
Oh, oh,
Canada is because we're so big and so little people,
yeah.
provinces, each area has more power than the federal government, generally speaking. So, for example, when you go to Regina, the Saskatchewan government will have more power over you than Trudeau will.
Oh, really?
That's just how it works, where because each province has its own problems and the federal government can't focus on everything, so they focus on very simple things like the military, diplomats with abroad. That's really all they focus on. But when it comes to inside Canada, it's generally the provinces. Okay, Ontario deals with Ontario, Saskatchewan deals with Saskatchewan. Yeah.
Oh, yes, Saskatchewan. Yeah, I understand it though. Yeah, just the more why you more Canadian people they don't like live in Canada. They live in Spain, Europe, and another country, Mexico. Before I see the money teacher. Yeah.
So when it comes to teachers, you have to remember that who am I going to teach in Canada? Everyone speaks English, right? So like
Yeah.
for teachers specifically, it makes sense to leave the country because you're not going to teach English in Canada.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
possible because you can go to the French side, for example, but it's just not popular because I wanted adventure. Why would I go to Canada? I've lived here my whole life. Why not teach in another country? That could be fun. So those are two reasons. Number one, it's hard to teach in Canada English. And number two, I want an adventure. And number three, Canada's very expensive and teachers don't normally make a lot of money, no matter the teacher. Whether you're a math teacher, English teacher, science teacher, doesn't really matter. They get a okay wage, but they don't get a good one or bad one. So for example, every year as a teacher, if I lived in Canada, I could probably save $5,000 in a full year.
For
living
you.
living in Vietnam, I can easily save $15,000 easily. So I triple my savings if I stay in a cheaper country. So that's another big one. And then of course with me, like I told you before, my reason isn't actually teaching or anything like that. It's because of my wife. And that one's actually very rare. Most people don't marry abroad. They might marry a different person in Canada, like I might marry a Chinese person in Canada, but they are Canadian and it's not that difficult. It's very difficult to marry with a foreigner, and so most people don't do that. So I'm a little rare when it comes to that. But
Yeah.
like I said, how provinces kind of deal with themselves, the interesting thing about that is Canada kind of is like 5 countries pretending to be one country.
Oh, 5 countries painting to
Kind of,
one.
because
Oh.
Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba and Northern Ontario are very similar. That's like one country, kind of. They act the same way, they talk the same way, they have
Yeah.
similar jobs, etc., similar culture.
Oh, Manitoba is nearest the US, ba? Manitoba.
All of them are. Yeah.
Of the nearest America. Yeah, United States.
The only places that aren't close to Canada, or sorry, America, is Northwest Territory and Yukon.
You can.
Those are the only. No, not Yukon. Sorry, Northwest Territory and Nunavut. Yukon is close to Alaska, right?
Oh, which 5? Which 5?
So the 5 groups are the Northern Territories, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. They are very much just the original people. They're like hunters. They just are up there for not much. Like there's not a lot of people there. That's one group. The Central Canada is another group. Like I said, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Vancouver is its own kind of thing. Like British Columbia, it's very similar to like the California.
Yeah, Seattle, California, Seattle.
Very similar. Very similar.
Yeah, similar Seattle. Yeah.
Then Ontario is a lot like New York, the Toronto, New York kind of thing. It's very close to that. It's very similar to that. So that's another kind of different country place. Quebec, very, very different. It's French.
French. French.
Totally different.
Here they speak the French. In the city. Oh, Quebec. in the 2000 before 2000 years is one country or inside the Canada? Oh.
So Quebec is the first place that came. The French first came to Canada, but I think it was in the 16th century. So like 16, I think it was 1650 something. England and France had a war, and England
fighting.
won.
Yeah.
And France didn't want to give any land away in Europe. So what they did was they gave up Quebec to England so that they didn't lose any land in Europe. So yeah, that's how it ended up going to Canada. So that's the four. And the fifth part that's kind of like its own country, we call it Atlantic Canada. The coastline, they're all islands. PEI, Newfoundland and Labrador, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. Those four places, there's not a lot of people there, and they're all like fishermen. Very different culture. They sound different. And all of these different places sound very different. It's similar to like America, where like a New York person is different from a California person, which is different than a Texas person. It's very similar to like that. Yeah.
Five before I think the two. I think Canada always do English and French.
Well, that's true. Like when it comes to languages, it's like that. But think of it similar to like China. Is Beijing very similar to Shenzhen?
No similar. No.
Exactly. Or
Hong
Xinjiang versus like Shanghai. Those are very different.
No,
Harbin,
different.
very different. Like it's very similar to that, but Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. China, we have different more the cities. We have the 120 language. Shenzhen, Hong Kong, similar to Shenzhen. Maybe Hebei, similar to Beijing. Taiwan, similar to my city. Similar to Taiwan. Yeah, we know the same. We know the same.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting at. It's kind of the exact same thing in Canada. Just whenever you have a big country like this, it's very easy to do that, right? Like, look at Canada, America, Russia, China, India. All five countries, they're so much different all over their own country, right?
Yeah.
But that's just life. That's how it goes, right? So for you, because you're going to be in the central Canada area, for very much countryside people, number one, a lot of farming related stuff, and so a bit more religious. Not Canada in general is not crazy religious, but what you'll see is, oh, I'm Christian, but not really. They'll be like, yeah, I'm Christian. I don't go to church, but I'm Christian. Like that's that kind of group lives there. And then they're also kind of a little bit more like the cowboys of Canada, because they end up. How do I describe that? They're very much like what happened in America. You know, the cowboy movies where they're going west, they're conquering new land and seeing new things. The same thing happened in Canada, where Canada used to only be Quebec and Ontario. That was it. But eventually, of course, it got to Vancouver, right? And so they had the same process as America did. So, like Alberta loves the cowboy hats; they're very much like cowboys. It's very similar to that. So they do like their guns a bit more now for hunting, of course. But like I said, you're going to Regina, 250,000, right? 250,000. So not a big city. You're not going to see
1
any
year?
big cities. Yeah.
Okay. The Saturday or the Saturday? People.
Yeah, people in Regina. So like not a lot of people. So you're never going to see those big cities of China anymore. Everything is going to be a lot more spread out, which means you get more land though. You get more backyards and stuff like that.
You see, in Saskatchewan, the people 1 year more. How much money the Saturday?
Generally, Saskatchewan makes a little bit less money than the rest of the country. However, Saskatchewan is very cheap to live in. So
Very
the
cheap.
value is pretty good. So, like for example, let's say a $60,000 job in Ontario. In Saskatchewan, that would be about $50,000. However, in Saskatchewan, your rent will be like $400 cheaper. Your food will be cheaper. Your oil and gas will be cheaper. Everything's cheaper in Saskatchewan because that's where we grow everything,
No,
right? All our food
I
is
think
there.
not cheap. I
Well,
think
cheaper.
not cheap.
Well, from what I saw,
I got my job offer. Go to the Guyana work. 1 hour get me the 17 Canadian dollars.
yeah,
Canada
17.
dollar.
So yeah,
Very cheap. Very
that's
cheap.
quite. It's not super bad or super great, I guess, but generally speaking, in Regina, we're talking about $800 per person for rent. That's pretty common for like a small place. $800 per month. If you want a bigger place for a family and stuff, you'll have to go bigger, of course. But if you do the same thing in Toronto, it'll be $2,000, $3,000. So it's a lot cheaper in Regina.
Vancouver, a bit expensive to Vancouver. My
Vancouver
friends,
is the most
yeah,
expensive.
yeah, my friends in Vancouver, it's yeah maybe 1,000, 2,000 or one room in the bathroom, no kitchen, maybe no
Yeah.
kitchen,
We call it
maybe no living room, yeah.
apartment, studio apartment, where there's just
Yeah,
one room for everything except for a bathroom. Bathroom is separate, of course, right?
yeah.
And yeah, that's what a lot like. If you got that, of course, it's going to be pretty cheap. But yeah, I would say that that's it's going to be a lot cheaper though for you to be there. But again, it's up to you what you want. If you're getting that 17 and that's your starting wage, so you'll eventually probably get up to 25, $30 an hour. Um, that 800 or $1,000, that will be cheap for you, and you'll be able to save a lot more. But I guess it will depend on your starting versus your ending.
But in Canada, good. You go hospital, you go
Free.
school, you know money. Yeah, you
Yep.
Regina, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe
All good. And in Canada, this might sound a bit weird, but in the countryside, we have better doctors.
better doctor,
uh, well, we pay them more.
pay the more. How
Essentially,
much money? Pay the more.
double. So if you're in a
Double.
city, for example, like Toronto, let's say you make 75,000. In Regina, you'll make 150,000 as a doctor. And so
Oh,
a lot of the good professional doctors who want money go to
yeah.
the countryside to work because they make more money. Uh, and so, yeah, a lot of our good doctors are in the countryside. So, and of course, if you're in any city, Regina, Winnipeg, blah, 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 you'll have good doctors. So, yeah, free. Um, the only thing you'll have to pay for is like basic medicine. Like if you have a cold and you need Tylenol or something like that. But that's like $1. That's whatever. It's cheap. Okay. And are you planning on going alone first and anchoring and then bringing family later, or how are you doing it?
I take my family, just children go here with the school. I go to Regina work. Children go to school. So I think go to Regina. Your school no public school no get money, ba? Public
Nope.
school no get money to. Yeah, when I have the work apartment, have the PR or have the passport. No Canada passport. Canada.
You just need to be paying taxes. As soon as you pay taxes, which will be on your first
Oh,
paycheck,
how how much
uh,
tax? How much tax in Canadian
it
people?
depends on the situation. So we do a bracket system. So the more money you make, the more we take. Since you're going to be a bit lower, starting at that 17, you won't be taking that much. Generally speaking, you'll be paying. So there's, first off, for everyone, there's 13% sales tax on all items. That's quite
very
a lot.
expensive.
But when it comes to income tax, you can get, for you, you probably would get to the 8 to 10%. I don't know where you would be, but you'd be around 8 to 10% for your income. And then, so put those together. So you got maximum 23, minimum 21. Not that bad.
I see you every year pay tax to government. So you know, hospital and public school and any public government, any public you don't pay to government. Yeah.
And if you pay too much taxes for whatever reason, because sometimes taxes are based off of how much you made that week, split over the year. And so sometimes you might pay a bit more taxes and a bit less taxes, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the year, they count it all up and go, actually, you should have paid 8%, but you paid 10%. Here's your 2% back. They give you it back in April. April is tax season. So you hand in your taxes by March, and by the end of April, you'll get your money back, or you'll have to pay more if you make more. And the other thing is, also depending on your income and where you live, you'll also get some other benefits. For example, because my income was a bit lower when I first left my parents' house, I was getting an extra $50 a month for heating and electricity for my house. Later on, when I got a little bit better, I lost that. But during my worst time, like during COVID, for example, I ended up getting that $50, but also a family bonus for the house, $100 every 2 months. So about $100 a month to help me with extra stuff. So you don't end up paying that much taxes, especially if you're lower. Until you're making about $60,000 or $70,000, you really don't pay that much tax. Once you get above that, though, it gets wild. For example, I heard recently that they changed it, and if you make over $100,000 a year, they take 50%.
Yeah, a lot
It's
of.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the poorer people, it's pretty much nothing. Yeah.
Now you live in Vietnam, you pay tax to government, no?
Yes. And as a foreigner, taxes are capped at 25% off the bat, no matter what. So I have to do 25%. However, I have a thing to avoid it, kind of, which is my money goes through my wife's bank account. And so it's seen as her money. And so we pay as if she's Vietnamese. And so I think I'm paying, with the amount of money I make, probably about 15%. So it's still quite a bit, but it's 10% less. So
10%. So you now your money you get the money to your wife the bank no get your bank.
Well,
so
because number one, it makes it force me to pay taxes there, which again, 25 is not that bad because I'm making so much. It's whatever. But the bigger issue is just I already have to, like, a Vietnamese bank doesn't really do anything.
yeah.
What I mean by that is you can't invest in a Vietnamese bank. You can't, when you borrow money from a Vietnamese bank, you don't borrow money based off of your income. You borrow money based off of the income of your area, which doesn't make sense to me. And so, like, for example, because I live in this area, the most I can borrow is $2,000. I can't borrow,
$2,000.
like I can't get a mortgage for a house. I can't do anything because this local area isn't very rich, so I can't borrow a lot. So like again, their banks don't necessarily do anything, and it's just easier for her to have her bank. I don't have to make my own bank, and then I have my own bank for Canada, so vice versa. When we go to Canada, we just use my bank. So that's kind of what we did. It's more because of laziness, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, so many people they don't like United States, don't like Canada. They think the two countries the tax is poor, is a lot of. They say, oh, maybe another country not pay the small tax, more the tax.
Well, it depends on what you're looking at, though. Like, for example, if you go to Europe, they are actually paying 50%, 60%. Europe,
Oh,
like in
60.
Germany, France, they're paying like crazy, but they get everything like really good, right? But then the same thing with America, they don't pay that many taxes, but where is their money going? They don't get healthcare, they don't get blah blah blah, right? So Canada's that kind of middle ground where we don't pay that many taxes, but we still get quite a bit from the taxes we do pay. So I think Canada is doing pretty good, but
Oh.
not the best, of course. It would be better, I think. Probably around 15 to 20% overall is probably good for lower people, and then going maximum up to 35% for like the rich people. I think that's probably okay,
Yeah,
but past that, I feel like you're taking too much and hurting the economy and stuff. But that's just what Canada does.
that's the rich people is no good. The poor people is good. Yeah, poor people.
Yeah.
The poor people they not pay the money tax. They think oh Canada is very good at the countries. Rich people they pay. Oh my God! I always bet the much the tax.
Well, the other thing to remember with poor people is if you go by how much they pay versus how much they actually get from the system, like I said, with that $50 a month for I don't have enough money, blah, blah, blah. Generally speaking, the bottom 50% of Canada pays zero or negative tax because of all the benefits they get, which is pretty crazy. So I might pay 15%, but I'll get enough benefits back of like 20% or 30%, which is really
20%.
weird. But
Yeah.
because again, if you're a bit poor, you'll get some electrical help. You'll get rent help if you're living in a high rent area. You'll get subsidies. You'll get less taxes depending on your job. For example, if you're a farmer, you get zero taxes because you're an essential job. We need you, so we put less taxes on you. There's a lot of stuff very similar to that, and so it just works pretty well, I would say. But again, it's not perfect. No country is perfect, to be fair, though, right? So that's how I look at it. They're trying their best.
China no pay the money tax. China with China the tax is the something you buy something in portals. You buy car, you buy house, you buy phone. China the
sales
tax is the
that's what we call it, sales tax, because it's for selling stuff,
sales
right?
tax. Yeah, just selling tax. Not the same another country. In Canada, the tax is the house. The house, the salary, anything you put the tax. So different. I think Vietnam maybe don't the same the tax to China.
Vietnam has a ridiculous tax thing. They're very crazy because again, like I said, there's specialty workers as well, like farmers. Farmers pay zero tax. If you're a construction worker, you only maximum you can pay is 5%, even if you're making $1 million. Like depending on your industry, you get taxed differently. It's very, very strange, but yeah.
Very strange.
So we are out of time. It was great talking to you.
Yeah,
you again.
yes, yeah. Okay, I love the to you talk. We tomorrow see you next time. Bye bye.